Hey everyone, I'm Shannon Sommerville. Welcome to the On Deck podcast. We'll be joined by Tyler Wiemann in just a bit to go over some of your daily fantasy projections and some of your prop bets. We've been crushing the prop bets lately, so you're going to want to tune in for that. But first things first, we've got to get to some weather conditions around some MLB action. Let's take a look first at Nationals at Pirates PNC Park. 58 degrees, 0% chance of rain with winds 8 miles an hour. Just some light winds out to left field. Phillies at Marlins. Roof is open at Marlins Park. Temps in the high 70s, partly cloudy skies. Blue Jays at Yankees. 7:05 first pitch, 64 degrees, 55% chance of rain though, with 13 miles an hour. Winds blowing out to center. Angels at Rangers. The Dome at Globe Life Field. Roof is open there. Temps in the mid 70s, 10 mile an hour. Winds blowing slightly in. Tigers at Royals. Kauffman Stadium will be 60 degrees around first pitch. 0% chance of rain with 10 mile an hour winds to right center. Braves at Padres. Petco Park will be 64 degrees. 0% chance of rain with 9 mile an hour winds left to right. Cubs at Rockies. Coors Field will be 55 degrees. 0% chance of rain and 15 mile an hour winds that will be blowing from left to right. Reds at Dodgers. Dodger Stadium will be 63 degrees, 0% chance of rain, and 14 mile an hour winds to right center. That's our weather report. Now we bring in Tyler Wiemann, talk a little daily fantasy, and we'll talk about some home run calls and prop bets, which we've been kind of crushing lately.
Absolutely. You hit your home run call last night. You hit your prop bet. And I think that's 4 in a row for props.
4 in a row, baby. Let's go. Continue the streak. We'll get to our prop bets and our home run calls a little bit later. But first, we've got to start with our chalk report. Tell everyone who they need to start in their daily fantasy lineups. Right now, the most owned pitcher is Joe Musgrove of the San Diego Padres. And I was looking this up today. It was almost a year ago that he threw the first no-hitter in Padres history. Yeah. So maybe some good mojo going for Musgrove.
Maybe. We'll see. He is coming in probably around 45% owned today, which is pretty high on a 6-game slate. There are reasons, though. One, it's only a 4-point implied total, which is fairly low. And also he has a 27% combined K rate. However, the Atlanta offense is really good. They've also hit Musgrove hard in the past. In 68 plate appearances, he's giving up a 321 average with 2 home runs and a .25 ISO. So he is, or has in the past, got hit hard by Atlanta. So that may give you a little cause of concern.
Sure, Atlanta making their first road trip of the season at Petco Park. So we'll keep an eye on that situation.
Being a Padre fan, I hope they have too many California burritos right before the game. And, the Braves just can't do anything.
There you go. Next owned pitcher is Kevin Gausman. We are liking the Blue Jays matchup again at Yankee Stadium. Of course, Vladdy Guerrero just crushed it yesterday for the Blue Jays, but we're talking pitching right now. So I'll let you take the floor with Kevin Gausman.
That Vlad performance was remarkable. Anyways, let's go into Gausman here. So one thing I wanted to note is over the last 5 starts, Gausman has had an incredibly low 1.9 FIP. Now, over the last 20, it is 3.22, so there's probably going to be some regression back up to that higher number. But regardless, he has been pitching very good. Now, he also has a 25.6% K rate, or combined K rate tonight. But it is that Yankees lineup that you love. And
top 10 in slugging.
Yes, they hit the ball hard. Every guy is home run or strikeout pretty much. And as you covered in the weather report, there is 13 mile an hour winds blowing out to center. One thing I do want to bring up is with this game having a chance of rain, his ownership projection now is coming in high, but it very easily could come in much lower than projections just because people are worried and have to make that choice. Do they play him or do they not?
Right.
Regarding the weather.
Sure. Absolutely. So kind of keep an eye on that. Take that into consideration and make sure to look up that weather report if you're leaning Gausman for tonight. And Shohei Ohtani comes in next. It's Happy Ohtani Day, Shohei Ohtani Day. The right-hander's taking on the Texas Rangers. What do you like about his matchup?
Shohei, he's just so incredible.
Right?
So he does have a very high K upside. The combined K rate is 25%. His personal K rate is much higher. He is one of the best pitchers in the game.
9 strikeouts last outing.
Yeah, and
That's
only
crazy.
80 pitches too, which is also a good thing to note is that he had 80 pitches last game. So he could be close to fully stretched out today. And it is against a Texas lineup that the BVP data with Ohtani isn't great. Texas hitters are only hitting 189 against him with a low .108 ISO. It is only in 43 plate attempts, but that's 2 to 3 games. And Ohtani was able to do very well against them all last year.
So taking now a look at some of the lower-owned pitchers, the first one we're going to talk about is the 38-year-old righty for the Atlanta Braves, Charlie Morton. What do you like about his matchup against your Padres?
I hate to say it, but the San Diego offense has not been that great yet. We've been pretty much middle of the pack this season so far in the small sample size, but without Tatis in the lineup due to his motorcycle injury that he never got fixed, the offense just isn't quite the same. It's not as dangerous, and there are some holes in it. So that is one thing. He also went 78 pitches, so like Ohtani, he could be close to fully stretched out. He has a low 3.08 FIP over his last 20, and there's a 25% combined K rate with him. So his numbers with Ohtani is very similar. However, he's 10% owned. Ohtani is probably coming in 35 or so.
Sure, and last time out, 5 1/3 of 2 hit ball, and it was his first appearance since suffering that leg injury, so he's been looking good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind taking some chances on a low-owned pitcher who's a very good pitcher with a low run total.
And a Jersey native like myself, so we like to see that.
Yep.
Speaking of taking some risks, we're taking a risk with the next one. Lefty Kyle Freeland starting for the Rockies against the Cubs, and I saw this and I was like, oh, we're going to Coors Field.
Yeah.
What is it about this matchup that stands out to you?
I know it's a little crazy. The Cubs are going to be one of the highest owned stacks. So there is some nice leverage here. Obviously, if he does good, everybody that owns the Cubs, their lineups are going to be bad.
Good point.
So there is the crazy idea there that there is some upside. But Freeman is also incredibly cheap. So you can get to those higher priced, maybe Dodger lineup or something if you go with Freeman. But to note, over the last 5 starts, Freeman has a 3.33 FIP, and over the last 20, he has a 3.8 FIP. Just to put that into some perspective, Musgrove has a 4.0 FIP, Ohtani 3.33. So he is in that range. It's not like he's dramatically different. The one thing, though, is that his combined K rate is 20% versus both of theirs are more like 25. And then also versus the Cubs.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. In 24 plate attempts, the Cubs only have a .19 average, and they're striking out 29% from Freeland, which is much different than that combined K rate of 20%. So if we get that upside at his cheap price, it could be a good situation.
Bold strategy there, but I like it.
Yep.
Let's move on to some of our stacks, and we just talked about it. One of the number one stacks everyone's playing today is going to be that Coors Field matchup.
Absolutely, on both sides of the game, too. The Cubs and Colorado both look high-owned, and I'm not going to try and talk anybody out of it. You can do it. Both sides have extremely high implied run totals. Just know that if you take these 2 teams and also have a couple of the chalky pitchers, you're going to be moving with the field, and it's just going to be a lot harder to get different.
So we might want to look at some of these lower-owned stacks. Speaking of which, Dodgers versus righty Luis Sessa, who's actually only expected to be an opener in this situation. So then you're going to face the lefty in San Martin, who's expected to come in relief and go a little bit deeper into the game. So what about this matchup intrigues you?
Yeah, the Cincinnati bullpen has been a bottom 5 bullpen so far to start the year. So anytime there's an opening situation, I like to look at some bullpen stats, and frankly, they haven't been that good, and the Dodgers lineup is incredible. So
yeah, 9th best batting average in Major League Baseball. I was curious about that today, so I had to look up that stat. So
not to mention that they have power and speed and, can do everything.
Sure. So great option there. We also have the Royals versus the Tigers righty Casey Mize. Last time out, he gave up 4 earned runs in 5 innings pitched, just 2 strikeouts. What else do you like here?
So Perez and Benintendi and Lopez all have some really good BVP data versus the Detroit pitcher. The team also has a ton of speed, so you can get some steals, get some home runs, get guys on base, and hopefully put up 10 runs and, you can win a GPP. They will be the 3, Witt, Benintendi, and Perez, maybe around 15 to 20% owned, but everybody else in the lineup is virtually unowned. So a stack with them would get you different.
Awesome. So some great options there if you're playing daily fantasy. Now it is time for our home run calls. Guess what, Tyler? It's Thirsty Thursday, and I'm thirsty for some home runs. How about you?
Is that why you're going to Coors?
That is exactly why I am going to Coors Field for my pick. I'm going Seiya Suzuki. He has been absolutely crushing it. He has more home runs than 3 teams in Major League Baseball right now. He's absolutely ridiculous. Give me him at the hitter-friendly Coors Field against a lefty. Yes, sign me up. How about you?
I like it. You are going against one of my lone pitchers there, though, but Freeland is so cheap, it doesn't matter if Suzuki still hits one. For me, I'm going back to one of the best hitters in the game. I'm going with Mike Trout in Texas versus Dane Dunning.
Can't go wrong with Mike Trout ever.
Nope.
But you like his matchup there?
His matchup's good. Dunning, last game, averaged 1.9 home runs per 9. On his career, he's right around 1.2 home runs per 9. So I think there is a good chance that at least 1 home run goes out in Texas today, and I'm going to say it's Mike Trout.
Well, we've been crushing the home run calls, so we're praying for some more home runs today. Mine's going to be at Coors Field, Seiya Suzuki. We'll have to tune in for that. Make sure you follow us on Twitter for that and retweet us for a chance to win some cool merch or just some straight up cash. It's always good. So follow us on Twitter at LineStar. Now it is time for our prop bets, and we have been on quite the roll.
We have, both of us have been doing well. Especially you.
We got a streak going. We got a streak going, so we're looking to continue it today. Yeah. And of course, I'm going back to Coors Field. Seiya Suzuki. This is a matchup that I absolutely love today. He's my home run call, so I'm going with him for a prop bet as well. And not bad for him. Over 1.5 bases, minus 115. Not too bad there. And I saw this stat. I thought it was pretty cool. He's the only MLB player with at least 8 RBIs and 4 walks in his first 4 career games since 1920. Wow. Little stat for you, a little nugget that I wanted to get in there for that one. Suzuki, again, of course, that righty bat against a lefty at Coors Field. So I feel like I can't go wrong with that pick.
I like it. I'm actually going to Coors as well. Just the other side of the game with Chris Bryant of the Colorado Rockies for over 0.5 RBIs at plus 115. I love the value there at plus money and a great matchup and a high implied total.
Awesome. So we're looking to keep our streaks alive. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and make sure to check out the LineStar app where you can get all the stats and analytics and just optimize your lineup if you're playing daily fantasy or just get some really good information before you make your prop bets. So be sure to check us out and follow us all day on Twitter. We'll be giving out all our picks. Good luck to you in your daily fantasy lineup and your prop bets, and we'll see you tomorrow.